In this video, we will go through ecological footprints. So, what is an ecological footprint? An ecological footprint is a measure of the impact of an individual on the environment. An ecological footprint is also a measure of the productive water and land needed to support an individual's standard of living forever. A person's ecological footprint will include space needed for extracting energy, living and working, manufacturing and waste disposal, growing food, and extracting resources such as timber and coal. And so all of these contribute to a person's ecological footprint. The average person in developed countries, which includes Canada, has one of the largest ecological footprints in the world. So here in this image, we see a lot of countries here. So USA all the way down to India. And then here on our y-axis is the number of hectares per person in which that person is required, or is the amount of land required to support that standard of living for individuals in that country. And so the global average is just a little more than 2 hectares per person. And we can see that in the USA, for example, which has the highest ecological footprint in the world. It's a little more than 12 hectares per person, whereas in Canada, we are just below 8. So we're still well above the global average, which is 2. In recent years, China and India have probably increased beyond this as their standard, especially in China, standard of living has increased, and people there look to emulate the American lifestyle. The average Canadian requires about 7.9 hectares to maintain their lifestyle. And this is equivalent to about 17 football fields. So if everyone on Earth had the same ecological footprint as a Canadian, we would need not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6. We would need about 6 Earths to support that lifestyle if everybody on Earth lived the same way that Canadians do. Ecological footprints this large in a world that has finite or limited resources and is dependent on non-renewable fossil fuels are likely to be unsustainable. So this is something that cannot be sustained forever over a very long period of time. And by unsustainable, we mean a pattern activity that leads to a decline in the function of an ecosystem. So if we look at human populations throughout the years and how this might have affected ecological footprints. Human population was relatively stable for a long time. In the 1400s here, there was a big dip in human population, as this was when the bubonic plague occurred. And then at around the 1800s, at around the time of the Industrial Revolution up until today, there's just been an exponential increase in the human population. So we are undergoing that exponential growth. And then if we look at the world population in the last 1,000 years, as I said, around the 1400s was when that bubonic plague happened. And then since about the 1800s, and then when we hit about the 1900s or so, when there were major scientific advances that helped improve quality of life, human population has shot up dramatically. And to the point now where, we're well past 7 billion people here on Earth. So, given the amount of people that live on the planet currently, environmental stewardship is very important. So taking care of our natural resources to ensure that they are used in sustainable ways for current and future generations is important. So sustainable agriculture includes soil conservation, organic farming, and eating locally produced foods. Sustainable forestry includes preserving parts of forests, replanting cut areas, and replanting many different species of trees in areas that have been cut. Um, Usually, logging companies that will cut down a forest may plant new trees, but these tend to be just one type of tree, and typically like pine trees, as opposed to other types of trees, which helps decrease biodiversity. And urban forest is another big thing. So, considering the canopy cover of cities has become a very big thing of city councils of late, and even regulating trees that are cut down by individuals, even if those trees happen to be on your property. Sustainable construction is also another important idea here to reduce the impact that construction has on available resources. So, remodeling a house, building new homes, all requires resources and even disposal of those resources. And businesses as well, so reducing footprint for manufacturing products such as green cleaning products, or products made from recycled materials. There's also a big move now to reduce the use of single-use plastics, um, as they are a source of major pollution. There's a number of things that individuals can do. It's not just all corporations. It's a combination of efforts. Um, so on the individual level, you can reduce your emissions. Things like riding your bike, taking public transit, using fuel-efficient vehicles. You can save energy. So by lowering the thermostat, unplugging small appliances, installing complex fluorescent light bulbs, or these days now LEDs, all reduce the demand for electricity. Eating foods that are locally produced, so buying from local farmers, reduces pollution from the trucks used to transport the produce. Buying from local organic farms reduces pollution from pesticides as well. And then plant wisely, so planting native plants helps reduce the chance of introducing invasive species, and planting drought-tolerant plants reduces water usage in the summer. And then buy wisely, buy only what you really need, will help reduce waste and reduce pressures on ecosystem. And then think about the impact that using and disposing of an item will have on the environment. Do you really need to use that plastic fork just that one time and then throw it out? Or, are there other ways in which, you might be able to reduce that plastic fork use, such as bringing your own cutlery, for example, or even plastic straws, bringing your own straw with you so you don't need to use a straw and then dispose of that straw. And then get involved. So check out your school community. Does it have an environmental awareness group? Is a full recycling program in place? If so, check it out. If not, think about organizing one. Invite your family and friends to do an ecological footprint assessment, and check out local or national organizations promoting environmental sustainability. So that ends this video on ecological footprints.